Hiya. She's back again. Been a while, hasn't it? Got my cuppa though. Shall we have a chat? I am PocketGiraffe on Instagram, PocketGiraffe on Facebook, PocketGiraffe without the knits, just PocketGiraffe on Ravelry. There's a little group. There's a Facebook page. I don't have a group on Ravelry because I'm rubbish on Ravelry. I can't work out how to do it. But I am pretty active on Instagram, and I try to be better on Facebook as well. So that's where you can find me. My name is Rachel in real life, or Mum. Mum is a thing I'm hearing a lot. I have 2 kids, 12 and 8, although the 12-year-old's nearly 13. And it's the school holidays. They've gone down to Grandad's for a little bit. We live in a little village. They've had a cycle. They're very excited by this. And they're a little cycle down to Grandad's. So I thought I'd do this. There's going to be a lot of erming. I haven't done this in a while. I'm drinking coffee though. That's how well the summer holidays are going. If you've seen on my Instagram, I don't know if you saw my stories, I ended up actually giving my children a list of stuff to do. I was like, no, you're not going on screens. They aren't taught to think for themselves, are they? This is coming from a former teacher. But yeah, anyway, I'll get on to that stuff. I'll talk about that stuff at the end because I do tend to waffle on about my life and it's boring for you guys. So how is everybody? I'm better than I was, which was why I've been absent. It's been eventful in a quiet kind of way. The dog is here. She is currently having a nervous breakdown because she's terrified of the fan. And she'd really like it if I'd let her go and escape. But if I let her go out, she's going to try and eat the hamster. So could you just not? Just chill. Oh God, if it's not the kids, it's the dog, isn't it? So yeah, it's been quiet in a eventful kind of way. I apologise. If you can hear loads of cars going past, it's because every delivery driver in the world waits until I put my phone on to record things before they decide to drive past my house in my little village. I've got a few nitty things to do. I've only got one finished object. I think I might have showed it you before. I'm kind of cheating. I have a very noisy dog. But I do have a few things I've cast on. I'm having a bit of a cast on-itis and a bit of a finish nothing-itis. But I thought there were a few things I was getting kind of stuck on. You right there, love? Talking to the dog, by the way. Hello. Hi. Oh, we've got it. Hi. Hi. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just going to carry on while my dog has a nervous breakdown because she... You all right? Awesome. This is my life. It's not really any wonder I'm under a psychiatrist, is it? Everything's so needy. This is one of those vanilla sachet. It'll be own brand because I don't buy anything expensive. It's got like the foamy stuff on top. I feel like I'm being dead fancy. It's not as hot as it was. Last week it was so hot. I couldn't have hot drinks and I felt like I was living in the belly of a dragon. It was awful. I don't know how people who live in warmer climates breathe. I am way too ginger for this. Far too ginger. No, just... It needs to stop that. It needs to be back to this. I can cope with this. This is not jacket weather. Don't need a coat. We've had a bit of rain. Everything's green and lush. The blackberries in the old abandoned pub that's going to become a house, which is going to make filming this even better. But there's loads of blackberries on their bushes and they're not starting yet. So I'm going to go pick them. Right. Well, you're not here for that though, are you? So I have got some bits and pieces to show you. I haven't really bought anything. I've bought one thing, and that's part of my whips. But I'm disabled, guys, and as much as I am very, very grateful for our welfare state, I'm also skint broke all the time. So I haven't really bought anything because I'm saving up for, well, some bits and pieces that I want in the future. that's okay. That's normal life, isn't it? Who can like, if you can afford to buy all the time, that's brilliant. And I love watching when people have got loads of stuff and I'm like, oh, live vicariously. But I can't do it. And that's okay too. And I don't think people should feel bad for that. And the bulk of what I buy is commercial. Number one, it's more affordable. Number two, I can be less careful with it when I'm washing. So, oh, now I've given myself hiccups. All right, oh, do you like my nails, by the way? They're all like mirror shiny, mermaidy. They're beautiful. Getting them done again next week. So, told you come for a chat, didn't I? I have no focus. They've upped my medication. Can you tell? Right, shall we look at what I finished? Oh, the dog's rearranged my life. Right, hang on 1 second. Well, I've got a little heap. So my friend has had a baby and I need to give this to her. We actually looked after our hamster and I forgot when she dropped the hamster off and when she picked the hamster up to give her the stuff. Because I'm just that, because if I'm that good in real life, can you imagine? There are no illusions here. Like, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said. I'm going to go through my knitting. I've got some other stuff to say as well, but let's not start with the fake it. The dog is, I swear to God, if you pull my stitches off those needles, we will not be, there will be a slow drive past the RSPCA. You won't go in, but I just want you to remind you why you should be thankful that you're here. Don't touch the knitting needles. She's looking at me like, what? Right, so she, isn't it cute? And the buttons come undone. I got some little rainbow buttons. Look. Oh, he's so cute. It's so tiny. Actually, I knitted the second size because I started the first size and it was, that's got to be preemie sized. So I'm going to get this over to her. It's an acrylic blend and these little bits are like a second thread. And if I remember rightly, it's called Doodle. I got it from Knit Nottingham. There was a blue with a rainbow through it. There was a grey with a rainbow through it. I'll assume there was a cream. But it's nice. It's neutral, isn't it? Without being boring. And I don't do boring. And also, she was a rainbow baby. So I didn't know the gender when I made it. But, well, no, that's wrong. I didn't know her sex. She will choose her gender in the future, won't she? If we can let Pokemon be renamed when they evolve, then we can do the same with humans. So at the moment, she's a she. However, undetermined for the future. So that is my singular finished object, and I'm actually going to put it over here, so I have to look at it a lot more. Right, so that's my finished object. And I have one more finished object to show you that's got nothing to do with me exactly. Abigail, my daughter, she's 12. She has just finished her first year of secondary school, year 7. I don't even know how that equates in other countries, so I apologise. There is not enough caffeine in the school holidays. But she made me a project bag. She had to make the bag and she chose me. So she dyed the fabric. So that's tie-dyed, and she did that. And then it's got dog hair. Everything's got dog hair on it. And then she designed this and printed it, and then she sewed it. It's not lined, but she's never used the sewing machine or anything before. And she made it for me. So it's got dogs on it because she knows I like dogs. I'm so pleased with it. She came home with it at the end of the school term, and she says, "Mom, I've made you something," and it means the world that she would like. They could choose whether they kept it. They could make it for themselves. She could have made it for her dad. Like, I'm just at home all day. So the fact that she said my mum would use that for knitting, it would be perfect. It would make a wonderful project bag. Oh, I really struggle sometimes to feel like I am of any worth to my kids, because once upon a time I was earning and providing in that sense. And that's always been my role up until sort of 3 years ago. So for her to, isn't it beautiful of her? It's got needles and stuff in, because it is holding my Yarndale uniform that I have started. I am an idiot, I didn't bring the pattern up, but if you go onto Knit Nottingham's Instagram page or Facebook page and you search for Yarndale uniform, you will see what has been chosen. It's a cardigan, it's got feather and fan at the bottom of the cardigan at the bottom, and it also has it at the bottom of the sleeves. It's just a simple V-neck, but it looks huge. It's actually knit all in one. There's not knitting. A lot of commercial patterns are like you sew up, don't you? This is a knit from the bottom up. A little bit of feather and fan. I avoid lace a lot and I hate it because my concentration is an issue. Part of it is the fibromyalgia, foggy brain. Part of it's my medication, foggy brain. And apparently that can be quite common in functional neurology. She is literally lying on the most inconvenient things. Dogs, eh? But yeah, you will see there's a lot of stitch markers. That's every other repeat of the pattern, just to keep me, because it's easy for me to count that way. Because I didn't the first time and I got smug and I was like, I can do that. Do you know what? Nope. Totally. I couldn't even work it out how I messed it up, where I'd messed it up, and then where to rip it back to. I was just like, I can't work this out. I was very nearly at the end of the pattern repeat. And I was, oh, that's a lesson, isn't it? Not to be cocky. Don't be arrogant and cocky and think you know everything, because you end up having to rip out. That's not even finished, so it was more than, it's like a spleen and skipping rope, isn't it? God's sake. Anyway, I'm knitting this on higher needles. Now I have a set of Knit Pro Zings, which I use on most things, but I treated myself to some higher sharps because I was doing a different project and I was just really struggling with Knit Pro Zings are a bit more blunt. So I thought, well, I'll try them, and I'm in love and I keep buying more. Don't tell my husband. You can tell him if you want. You can tell him if you want. I shouldn't be saying stuff like that. That's just it's naughty, isn't it? Anyway, that's my feather and fan. And the reason I'm showing you this is it lives one in that bag. But number two, oh, and I'm knitting it in. It is fuchsia. And I got this. It's drifter, but it's subtle. So it's not all stripy. And it says it's super soft. And do you know what? I thought it got a blend of something else in it, but it doesn't. It's 25% cotton, 6% wool, 69% premium acrylic, and in 100 grams you get 300 meters, which is 328 yards. Standard double knit tension on 4mm needles, apparently. Obviously, if you knit to the standard tension, but it's lovely. It's really, really nice. I am actually really enjoying knitting that. But I went and got that yarn when Abigail and I were out in Nottingham on a little girl's day out. She'd got some money burning a hole in her pocket, as had I, to be fair. And she'd got a voucher that she'd been given almost a year ago. And she was aware it was going to run out, and it was for Primark, which apparently is where everyone shops at her age. So we went to Primark. She spent a small fortune, but it was all her money. And then she had a little bit left, and I said, oh, I want to go up to Knit Nottingham. But I'm coming over to Nottingham. I'm going to go pop in and see if Eleanor's there, or Emma, or Zoe. I don't mind. I just like the shop. Obviously, I like the people too. And I mentioned before, it's just the friendliest place. So despite the torrential rain, biblical, it was unreal. We were going up a hill and I was like, I literally cannot push my wheelchair up this hill without sliding backwards. We were absolutely soaked, so we had to stop halfway up in a coffee shop and go to the toilets and sit under the hand dryers and have a drink. Obviously not in the toilet, we came out of the toilet for that bit. Izzy, shut your face. So long as I'm in constant physical contact with her, she's happy. Yeah, so we went up and I got the knit knotting and stuff. I had a nose at some of the new stuff she got in. I was going to go for the Mind Day, but just the idea of there being a lot of people that I didn't know and it being hot and busy and no. So for my own mental health, although I really wanted to go and support the Crafternoon for Mind, because anything supporting mental health is amazing. The services in this country are shocking, and they are shocking. The NHS is wonderful, and the people who work in the mental health services do a good job. They just don't. That was the dog. Just settle. I'm talking about important stuff here, and you're having a nervous breakdown over a fan. No one can see you stretching your legs. You're very clever. Sit. Chill. Right. I'm going to pause. I'm going to let the dog go for a wee. I'm back. Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, mental health. It's all very good. It's just that there's not enough of it. Never mind, eh? But Abby was with me and she starts looking. She's like, oh, I like that sparkly yarn. I could make a scarf. Would you teach me to knit? And I was like, you already can knit. I need a reminder. Fair enough. So, dog sniffing a hamster. The hamster's not loose, by the way. It's in its bed in its cage, but she likes to sniff it. And then it bites her nose. And she doesn't understand why. Right. Focus, Rachel. Oh, she's back. This is what it's going to be like. Welcome to the summer holidays. That's just the bloody dog. Can you imagine when the kids are here? Right, more caffeine. So Abigail wanted to learn. She could knit. She knit in the past, but somebody called her a granny at school. So she decided it was uncool and she wasn't going to do it. I'm trying to teach her not to care, but she's a kid, isn't she? And your friends are your world at that age. So anyway, I said, don't knit a scarf. You're better than that. You've knit stuff in the past. Make a garment. So we bought enough for her to make a garment. She started the sweater version of the cardigan I'm knitting because King Cole are amazing and they put 2 patterns. Do shut up, Izzy. They put 2 patterns on every one of their pattern leaflets. So that's what she's doing. So she's knitting herself a little jumper and she is using a sparkly one. And do you know what? It's King Cole and I'm fairly sure it's like glitz or something, or twinkle or something like that. I haven't brought the poor band up because I've nabbed this. I don't know where she's stashed the rest. So, and obviously it's got pinks in it as well. But if you go to Eleanor's shop or message her, she will be able to tell you what her sparkly yarn is called and you'll be able to buy it from her and you'll be supporting an independent bricks and mortar yarn shop, which we should all be doing. So yeah, pretty. The galling part is that she's nearly finished that feather and fan pattern repeat. She's not made a single mistake. Me, I'm behind. I'm behind my beginner daughter because I messed it up. Galling. And it's the same with crochet and stuff like that. She's got better concentration than me. That's what it is. It's not because I was a git. Right. So that's those. So I'm really pleased with those and I'm really pleased with my little book bag. Oh crikey. I also have promised my husband I'll knit him socks. Oh Lord, I've got everything. Hang on one sec. got everything knotted up. You know, when you pile things together, you don't put them away properly. I'm teaching myself a lot of lessons today. Oh, I can't do it. So this is Head Over Heels by Stylecraft. I had it when I was given it as a gift actually, when I went to a workshop, which I paid for. None of that advertising nonsense, because it's not advertising, because I paid for the thing. It was a free gift as part of my little goodie bag for going to a workshop that I probably paid over the odds for in the first place. And I'm also like 50 subscribers or something. To 100 I might do a giveaway, just saying. But yeah, it's stripy, and I've not even joined it in the round. That's how far we've gone. But the intention is there. He loves knitted socks. He's really fallen for knitted socks, so he wanted these. And I shall knit them for him. He'll probably get them for Christmas, because that is likely to be when I finish them. So that's what I cast on. And in another fit of castonitis, and what happens is, I'd got a couple of patterns that I've shown you a few times. I've got my the purple cardigan that I'm doing, Stockbridge. That's your solder, and it's lovely, but it's a lot of what they call endurance knitting, like just backwards and forwards stocking stitch, or round and round stocking stitch, which is fine, but my mind then gets a bit bored, and I need like a palette cleanser. So what I did was I sat down and I went through all of my stuff, and I was like, are these things sparking joy, I suppose, if you want to get fashionable with it, or, you know, am I enjoying working on them right now? And I put everything away that I just wasn't focusing on, and I didn't really, when I picked it up, I was flitting and I wasn't concentrating, I wasn't enjoying. So I started, when I'd done that, a couple of new things, and allowed myself the opportunity to start new things and get excited about them. And Joshua has been asking for a long time to have a jumper. He loves a hand knit jumper anyway, but he wanted a cozy jumper that he could wear, but he wanted me to make a miniature one for my brother's little boy, so his cousin, Fraser. So Fraser's birthday is October, so what I've said is I will do one for Fraser for his birthday and one for Joshua. So I started a flax. I'm going to do them both in the same colour. I also got this from Knit Nottingham. This is Cedar Hayfield, in this colour. I let the kids tidy, because it's good for them to learn to do housework, right? Problem is, they keep throwing my ball bands away. But I don't know what colour it is. It is this colour, kind of turquoise, pastel turquoise. It's cute, it's nice. Also, more higher sharps. I'm in love. And this, I made this ages ago. It's a little row counter. So these are the small ones are my units. The big ones are my tens. You can go up to 100. And you just slide it down. And what I do is I slide it down for one set, and then I move one of these down, and then I slide them up. So there you go. That's my row counter. I had to have like separate row counters notebooks for every project, because I've always got bloody millions. But that's a flax for Joshua, and I'm going to do one for Fraser as well. I'm doing Fraser's second because it's teeny tiny, isn't it? And it's going to be so cute with them both together. Fraser is the cutest little button. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, because I'm his auntie and he's my brother's little boy. He is so cute and very intelligent, very intelligent. So, sorry, I'm just watching the lady in the chip shop. So, those are my whips. We've also got a couple more that are in fancy yarn, fancy pants hand-dyed yarn. I am, of course, working on my So Faded. I don't know if last time I showed you my So Faded. pretty much, I've done about that much. I've just changed on to my next colour, which is Girl from the Skerries, Fry Truly Hooked. The purple one there, that's mine. I did that one. These two are Snuggly Stars, Fairy something, and Dragon, Baby Dragon Eggs, Baby Dragons. That's Snuggly Stars. And we're now, but Merino. Just, it is lovely. Yeah. Again, we're kind of on endurance knitting there, aren't we? So the love, I take this one out with me because it is just round and round. So this is the one that kind of goes on tour. And then the last thing that I am working on is actually a test knit. Boop, 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 boop. And I am knitting it in project bag, Myra, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Alternating skeins, although to be fair, there are moments where I haven't, and I don't know. I don't think you can tell where I haven't and where I have. I can't tell, and I know. So it will be, I'm not going to show you too much because obviously it's the test. It's going to be out on the 21st of August. This pattern, it is Yarnflakes, Audrey, who is definitely on Instagram, and it is the Cathechu, Cathechu. That's the word. My pronunciation is awful. Sorry, but I'm loving it. I absolutely, this is unblocked obviously, but that lace, oh my goodness, I adored knitting that. I really, really enjoyed it. And just one more flash. Oh, it's so pretty. And I really like the construction of this. I think it's going to fit me really nicely. I mean, I love the yarn. I'm loving it, and I've really kind of got into it. In fact, so much so I was kind of like, I'm gonna go upstairs and record now. Hello, dog. Yes, well, you see, I'm not quite. She's current. Do you know what she was wrong with her, other than the fact that the fan is in this room? Is the kids have gone out, and I'm not worrying about it. She feels like I should be more worried. Stop judging my mother in. God, even dogs judge your parenting these days. Christ. Right. So yeah, I'm knitting that. That needs to be finished. Right, I need to sit down. That needs to be done. But I'm really enjoying it. The pattern is beautifully written, considering like it's French and English, and Audrey's French. It's a really easy to read pattern. I am not the best at reading lace patterns or reading charts, and I could do this. And I really, really have enjoyed it. It's done in a 4-ply, my fingering weight yarn. So I have seen at Nottingham some other really beautiful 4-plies. So I may make another. We'll see how it fits. But I'm really, really, really enjoying that knit. So that's currently what I'm working on. So what will happen is you will see a lot of those, because like that's a lot of things, and I'm only going, there's only 2 of these, so yeah, I'm not wearing any knitwear. In fact, I'm wearing my Strong Girls Club tee from Motherhood, another legendary human being, because I am part of that club. Number 1, 2 babies, thank you very much, one of whom tried to kill off my liver while he was in there, but also, you know, I'm trying to move away from, oh, I'm overweight and this and that, because do you know what, I'm not, I've survived enough. I need to be a bit more thankful to my body for what I have survived. So I've got a little list here. I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. I have made some markers. I haven't brought them up. I'm going to show you them next week, because I'm going to sit and make some more. Do you know why? I might open an Etsy shop. Maybe. If I can get over the fear of failure things, I'm going to open one. So please be lovely to me and buy a thing. They won't be expensive because that's not me. That would really, yeah. Or nag me. Keep going. When you stick my, when I show you them, like nag me, ask, and because I want to do something that makes me feel productive and that makes me feel like I am a valuable human being. That was something that came out of my one and only psychiatry appointment for the next year. So, yeah. Right, so that's knitting stuff done. If that is all that you are here for, you are free to bugger off if you would like. However, I am going to ask you to linger for 5 more minutes. And I'm going to pause for 1 second and come back. There we go, I'm back. Right, whew, kids are back too. So, I am fairly sure, just run up the stairs. I don't run anywhere unless something's chasing me that might kill me. Right. Shall we go with the difficult stuff? I'm sure, unless you live on Mars, that you have heard about the furore that a certain podcaster, designer, definitely male, made a couple of weeks ago. And this was not too short after Ravelry made their announcement that they were banning white supremacist support. Now, let's go with number one. I completely support what Ravelry have done. I think they could have worded it slightly differently. It kind of came across as a bit inflammatory if you just read the strapline. Donald Trump has said, and afterwards actually has said things that were worse, like go home. Where to? Brooklyn? Boston? Those things haven't been socially acceptable for a very long time. And people are people. And unfortunately, whilst the movement that Martin Luther King, that Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, all of those wonderful human beings were part of, managed to eradicate physical and legal signs of inequality and segregation, the social constructs were not dismantled at the same time. And this generation that we are a part of are probably the first to really challenge that. I know how uncomfortable this conversation would make certain members of my family. That's not okay. And trust me, I have those conversations pretty much every time I see them. It's hard to unindoctrinate somebody, but we have to, because we shouldn't be in a modern society where if you live in the UK and you are a black pregnant woman, you are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth and the immediate aftermath than a white woman. If you're as shocked by that statistic as I am, go to Candice Brathwaite. She has currently got a petition linked to our government to do something about this. Their response when we got to 10,000 was woefully inadequate and was just a case of statistic massaging and nothing more than propaganda, really. And it was sad, really sad, to see that at the very top level, institutionalised, embedded racism is still there, white privilege. It's absolutely rampant. So that's one statistic for you. Here's another. In my entire over a decade long time in education, the only time that I was involved in the referral of a child, bearing in mind I was Senko, so I was involved in anything like that, of a child at risk of radicalisation was a white boy. And we were very concerned about his views towards his peers who were people of colour. Not okay. If you can hear a herd of elephants moving around, that's my 2 children. They are currently climbing stairs to change their clothes because they got wet in the rain. Right. Therefore, any maker who is a person of colour, any dyer, any designer, has every right to be loud and angry right now. If my children come home and they tell me something happened in the playground and it upset them, I don't tell them it's not important, do I? I tell them how to manage it. I help them maybe to learn a little bit about one of their friends. I get them to communicate and listen to that other person. Most of all, I encourage them to do better so that the upset doesn't happen in the first place if it's because of a falling out. But I listen. So if one of my adult friends comes to me, or somebody I know, or an acquaintance, or somebody on the internet and says, this has offended me, this has hurt, this makes me feel unsafe, we are not in a position in the society that we live in to tell them that they are not right. One of the most damaging things that happened as my mental health got to the point where I was suicidal was being told, and I quote, "You have no right to be angry at me." That stuck with me to the point that it made me want to drive my car as fast as I could into a concrete divide on a motorway. Those words, at that point in time, were ringing through my head. Fortunately, I was driving in rush hour traffic and I didn't want to hurt anyone else, so I didn't do it. Now, I'm a white woman. I wasn't disabled at that point in time, but I come from privilege regardless. Imagine hearing that from the moment you step out of your family's safe bubble. You go to school, you go to nursery, you go anywhere in your life and you face an uphill struggle purely down to the fact that other people have ingrained in them an expectation that you are not good enough because of the colour of your skin. How can we sit and say that knitting, crochet, fibre arts are good for mental health when we are doing this to people of colour? And you cannot come at me and say we're not doing it, because we are. Yarningham's incident, I'm sure the festival was wonderful, and it's such a shame for those organisers that this is how 2019 will be remembered. But the fact that that happened shows this is not a safe space. And people have every right to be angry. They have every right to be challenging this. They have every right to be turning to us and saying, how are you going to do it better? And there's books out there telling yourself to knit yourself happy. Imagine, right, that you've been lucky enough to go through life where that has never, ever, ever happened, which, by the way, if you're a person of colour, that's never going to be the case. But imagine, for the sake of this argument, that that was the case. And you have hit a low. Maybe you've got postnatal depression. Maybe you've just got depression because, hey, it's chemicals in your brain and it happens. And you pop into the bookshop one day and you see this, or you're online and you see knit yourself happy, crochet yourself happy, crochet for calm, crochet for anxiety, all of these things. You go to your doctor and your doctor says, have you tried knitting? I've heard that's very good. And you walk into your local yarn store. You pop onto Ravelry or you pop onto Facebook or Instagram and you put #knitting and you come up with this stuff, that's not okay. That's not the knitting community that I want to live. Knitting saved my life. Crochet saved my life. It was at one point stitch by stitch. My husband would come home and he knew I was agoraphobic, and he knew that he worried all day that I might off myself while he was at work and the kids were at school. And he'd come home and he'd be like, what have you done today? Now, I might not have managed to leave my bedroom. I might not have washed my hair for days. I might have been completely dishevelled in every other way. But I'd be able to hold up a piece of work and be like, wow, that's amazing. My mum would be the same. My friends were doing the same. And it kept me going. We're not offering that to people of colour and people who are members of the BIPOC community, because we don't listen. We need to do better. We need to be better. We need to shut up and listen. And if we don't, and if we start going, we'll prove it. Well, how? That's gaslighting. That's victim shaming. If a woman said that her husband was beating her, and then the person that they'd gone to said, oh, go on, then prove it, we'd be up in arms. We'd be up in arms. You can't say that. When someone says, I went somewhere and they made me feel really unwell, I can't quite put my eye, I walked in the room and everyone kind of looked at me. Nobody offered to help me, but then the white lady that walked in, they were all over her, even though she was new as well. What? And then we say, prove it. Are you telling me that if I was to say that something like that happened to me with a wheelchair, that people wouldn't be going, oh, Rachel, that's awful. Oh, how about, they wouldn't say prove it. Get the security video and prove it, love. No, that's not what happens. And so I shall step off my soapbox with one thing. We need to be better. If you are challenged, accept you're wrong. I've written an Instagram post that details my mental health and why I won't accept mental health as a reason for being gaslighty or tone policing or anything like that, okay? It's on my Instagram post. It's a picture of yarn and coffee. Yes, that does narrow it down. I'm just checking. We need to be better. We need to do better. And we can. We can. But we need to engage in that conversation. We need to communicate. And we need to be willing to be wrong. Babies don't learn to walk, do they? Without failing. They don't just get up one day and walk. They get up and they fall, and they have, first of all, they have to try and get onto their arms and their legs, and then they fall, and then they bump themselves and a million times. And the same with writing and spelling and reading and riding a bike and all those things. Humans have to fail in order to learn. Everybody has to fail. Dogs have to fail in order to learn. It's the intrinsic part of learning. Abigail might get through that whole jumper without ever making a mistake. She will learn more when she completely ballses up a jumper 6 inches in. Because that's how we learn. You own your mistakes and you say, right, what can I do better? You don't turn around and tell the person that's told you you've done wrong, right, you're wrong, you're not right. No, just accept. Don't be arrogant. Don't be obnoxious. Just take your mistake, yeah? And it's okay. We have been born into a world where if we're white, we are automatically privileged. It's kind of like original sin. It's there. Once you're aware of it, then we have to do better. We have to make sure that despite the fact it permeates every part of our lives, when we catch ourselves doing it, we change. When someone calls us out, we change. And that is how things will improve. If every single person says, right, I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna get this wrong, and I'm really sorry. And I am. I'm gonna get this wrong. I've recorded this twice because things weren't coming out right. I'm gonna get it wrong. Tell me that I've got it wrong. And I'll do better next time. I'll say I'm sorry and I'll do better. That's all I can offer. That's all we're being asked for. When we're told this is wrong, we need to make sure we don't do it. When we're told, I don't feel safe in that space, we need to say, okay, what can we do? Not say, yeah, you do. We do this, 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 and this. No. We did this. We've been told it was wrong. It was clumsy. Tokenism. So what can we do? Yeah? It's that simple. Okay. Coffee means we're moving on. Very quickly, if you've made it this far, cheers. So I have written myself a little list of things I want to achieve. One of the things that came out of my psychiatric liaison appointment, the single one I will have, I think I get one more in like 6 months. But never mind. But what came out was that I feel kind of unproductive. I lack a sense of identity other than I'm a mum. And that's damaging me a lot. So I've mentioned little tiny stitch markers. I'm going to put them on an Etsy shop, I think, or something of that ilk. When I do, please be nice. But also I used to enjoy writing, fiction, and also blogging. So I'm probably going to get back to that at some point, whether it's just in a notebook, whether I put it online, I don't know. But it will be a positive step for me. But I've also put that next year I want to attend some different yarn shows and meet some different people. And I've kind of done a bit of a scout and a bit of a nosy on what's going on this year and asked around. I'm looking for things that are more accessible because I loved Yarndale. I know right now they have a lot of work to do in terms of being inclusive and diverse. However, I've been going for a few years now with my mum, and my mum's paying for me to go this year. So I should go, and there'll be vendors there that I know, and it'll be lovely. Obviously, it would be nice to see some vendors who are more diverse. Let's hope that some of the steps they're taking happen anyway. But it's hard. It's in a cattle market or a sheep market or something. The ground is concrete, it's got ridges, it's a funny angle to let the nasty stuff drain away because sheep don't use loos. And it's a killer. It will take me a long time to recover from Yarndale. So I was thinking maybe next year I'll do something different. Fibre East's there, although it was a bit scary with the rain and the floors. But I still think it'd be better than a cattle market. The Woolmonty was amazing, absolutely amazing. I went there, so I'm going to do that one again. But I'm really excited. My September, I really want to go to Perth, which is a long way up. I really want to go. I might get the train. I'm thinking Birmingham, Edinburgh. Oh, I'm fairly sure that's doable. I might get the train rather than driving. Then I can knit. That's me knitting. That's not how I knit. But I've heard amazing things about her. So, I know, was it Hutch of Dye Candy that vended there last year? I don't know, but she's definitely sounded like it was brilliant. So, yeah, I think, plus I haven't been back up to Scotland since I graduated in 2005. And I miss it. I get properly homesick. I really do miss it. And then obviously 2021, I'm going to do EYF. Definitely. So, yeah. So they're on my like a little, how I'm going to measure my own success is that I'm going to be able to go to these things. And in order to do that, I need to kind of look at my physical abilities, make sure I'm doing all the right things for that. Obviously, I need to work on my mental health so that the anxiety doesn't get me. But I am working on it, you know. I've obviously been to the psychiatric team. And I also have an appointment in London at the end of the year to see like the professor in functional neurological disorder. There's like 3. I think there's a guy in Edinburgh and there's a guy in London that I'm aware of, and he's like a professor. He's not. I know there is no magic cure, and I know I'm doing an awful lot already that I have read are part of the rehabilitation things. I don't expect to get out of my wheelchair. This is not going to be a Lazarus moment, okay? But it is going to give me a clearer idea of what I can do to keep myself on the best balance. Oh, got hair in my eye. I possibly can. So I'm really excited. The appointment came through this week and I was like, oh, and I've booked a hotel so that I can go to the Oh, so exciting. That was caffeine and excitement. You know when I said it was hard to live with? I think that might be part of it. The other thing I need to tell you is that the kids are off for the school holidays. I will do my best to do at the very least bi-weekly. I want to do weekly. I've discovered I can kick them out and they can go to granddad's and cycle. So maybe we'll do that. I'll do my best. I'm going to take them to the National Space Centre because it's just on the road from us, and Joshua's school project this summer is on space, so that should be really, really good. And also next week Joshua's going to be a zookeeper for the day with giraffes. That's giraffes. I might be a little more excited than he is right now. My mum and dad bought it in for his birthday, and we're going to go and we're going to play with giraffes, and we're going actually into their enclosure. He's going to be a zookeeper. He's probably going to have to shovel a lot of giraffe poo. But giraffes. My husband is absolutely petrified of anything with a hoof. So me and Abby and Joshua, my mum and my dad. It's going to be amazing. And it's also my dad's birthday. So that's going to be really exciting. I might do a little video that I can put up like I did with London. Yeah, so we're going to do little bits and pieces. We're not going on holiday. I'm poor. And yeah, the only other thing I could possibly tell you about is Pablo, who is a wolf spider that is trying to eat me. He currently resides under the shoe rack we live in a terrace house, the toilet's downstairs. The shoe rack is just by the back door, which is next to the toilet. I was in there the other day and he ran across and he was trying to get to my feet and I squealed. I considered squishing him with my husband's shoe and he ran under that, and now whenever I go to the loo in the middle of the night he scuttles. He's trying to touch me with his hairy legs. Those bits. Mandibles? Them bits. He's trying to rub them on me. I don't know why I call him Pablo. Oh, because I've given all of my spiders different names, and Pablo was on a TV programme Joshua was watching the other day and it was in my head. That's why he's called Pablo. Yeah. So other than that, I have nothing to tell you. If I don't update you, you know, in like a month, you can assume that the spiders are eating me and that I need to be avenged. Otherwise, I'm going to get back to my knitting. Yeah. And I've not even finished my coffee yet. That's brilliant. World's smallest, wettest dog is currently walking down the jetty across from me. But yeah, please pop onto Instagram. If you've enjoyed watching any part of this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you liked and subscribed so that other people could discover that I'm here. I will try and tag people in the What's It box below. I'm a bit rubbish with stuff like that, and I think we should all just be happy that I'm back. Yay! Also, if I get it up in time, today is Georgie-Knits' birthday, Katie. So I think we should go and give her a happy birthday if this turns up on a different day in August, just go back and say happy belated birthday to her. She's PGKnits on Instagram. She'll love it. And that's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Make sure that you do more knitting than me. Don't get eaten by wolf spiders. That's a life lesson. And be better humans. Just be better. Someone tells you they're upset with you, accept it and ask how you can do better. Yeah, but just keep being amazing, and thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Like. Oh my lord. Oh God. Please like and subscribe. You can see more of this little ginger mess. Love yous all. Mwah.